Okay, let me slow this down for you a little bit. First of all, you have to have a sculpture, and that means you're going to make the object that you want to be bronze. It's going to look essentially exactly like the sculpture that you make. So you take a lot of time just to make this piece. After that piece is done, then it goes through its first mold making, and that is a rubber mold. So this was a liquid rubber that was applied that hardens, and we just sort of build it up to a certain thickness. Now, the problem with that liquid goop is, even after it's set up, it's kind of floppy. So using liquid plastic, you then again, layer after layer, apply this hard plastic shell over the rubber, while the rubber is still attached to the sculpture. And we would have a flexible rubber mold that then registers perfectly inside of a rigid plastic mold. And then we can use this mold, when it's reassembled, to pour in wax. Now when that cools, you can take the casement mold off, take the rubber mold off, and you have a wax replica of your original sculpture. Your sculpture turned into another material. It's like magic. Okay, so once you have a wax replica of your original sculpture, then we have to attach a gating system to it. This becomes like the plumbing system that allows the metal to flow into your work. The gates are attached to your wax sculpture, and then on the other end attached to a cup, and that cup becomes literally the cup that we pour the metal into. Once we have your gated wax piece assembled, that whole thing has to be covered with a material that can withstand the temperatures of molten bronze, and that material for us is the liquid ceramic slurry. And ceramic slurry is a mixture of glue and sand and water. It goes on in thin layers, and then it gets reinforced with a layer of sand, and you build this up over the course of about 6 to 7 layers, depending on the size of a piece. This happens over the course of several days, and your gated wax pattern begins to look like this. After that, what happens is we can open up this cup. We literally just cut this off, and then we do a burnout. So the burnout is the process of cutting the cup open on your ceramic mold so that the wax has a place to flow out of. Then preheating a kiln to 1,150 degrees Fahrenheit, loading the piece into the kiln when the kiln's already hot, and doing what's called a flash burn. So it's just like a flood of wax comes pouring out of your piece. Then what you have is a hollow ceramic mold, and that hollow, you have to imagine, is a negative impression of your original sculpture. And now, Grasshopper, you're ready to pour bronze. This is where we do the burnout. We take your ceramic mold with the wax burnt out, we reheat that, and at the same time melt a pot of bronze in a blast furnace and take that up to liquid at about 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. When the molds are at temperature, the metal's melted, and we know the metal's hot enough to pull out. This beautiful little dance starts. Somebody's moving out of the kiln, and these guys in spacesuits are pulling a pot of 2,000 plus degree metal. You're dealing with extreme materials here. I mean, not to get too crazy, but it could melt your face off. And you certainly don't want to melt your face off. And inside that ceramic mold is a thousands degree hot replica of your original sculpture, which in about 12 hours or so, you can break out of that mold. And inside of it is your statue, your sculpture in bronze. And that's how you make a bronze sculpture.